Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We begin with mystic song by Shri Swami Lalitananda, played and sung by Shri Swami Umananda and Rajneesh.
Our song tonight is based on a poem by Swamiji. It's called Somewhere. Somewhere, someone plays the flute and sings a mystic song that comes from sweet mountains, by lakes and forests, dancing on ocean waves, playing with shining stars. Somewhere, someone beyond the wheel of time is singing a sweet song, and in the early dawn, as I listen, I become one with a song. The world fades like morning mist. I have become one. We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru, Pujya Atman Shri Swami Jyotirmayananda in Miami, Florida. Today is October the 26th, 2018, Friday evening, and tonight Swamiji will be lecturing on the Tulsi Ramayana. This is series 2016, class number 126. And now, Pujya Atman Shri Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Om Nilambuja Shamal Komalangam Sita Samaropita Vama Bhagam Panavu Maha Sayagacharu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Adorations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side. He's carrying powerful bow and arrow in his hands. Shri Ramcharitmanas in Baal Kanda, verse number 318. Good news. Shri Rama is in the process of marrying Sita, and all his brothers will also marry. But I'm drawing your attention to the special spiritual message that is being given by Saint Tulsidas. To enjoy the flavor, the joy the mystic festivity of Rama's marriage. Rama's marriage, you must realize, is the goal of every soul. Not complete goal, but on the way to the goal. Soul is Rama, and Sita is Viveka Buddhi, intuitive intellect. Soul relates to Purusha aspect of Brahman. And intuitive intellect relates to Prakriti aspect of Brahman. Those who are going to deeper waters. Prakriti ascends, Purusha descends. Ascends, Arohan. Descends, Avataran. Spiritual movement is the magic of these two mystical points. You are raising your standard of your nature, your body, mind, intellect, going upper. As it goes to high level, what happens out of your mental set? Intellect does not stay intellectual. It becomes intuitive. Intuitive intellect is represented by Sita. And all the brothers and the sisters of Sita, they are different radiations. So keeping that in view, it's a profound occurrence. If that happens in an individual, you have fulfilled the purpose of life. Countless lives you have gone through. Countless experiences you have gone through. So many good news have come and gone. But this type of good news is the highest aspect. Because now, if you follow through, allow that marriage to happen, and you watch, understand the immense majesty of soul being blended with, joined with Viveka Buddhi. How glorious it is. That's what Tulsidas is trying to present in literature. Jo sukh bhasya matuman dekhi Rama varaveshu so na sakahi kahi kalp kalap sat sahas saradaseshu. Sita's mother, Sunayana. Nayana means eyes. Sunayana, beautiful eyes. But the eyes are beautiful. Eyes are symbol of vision. The vision that focuses on Rama's, focuses on Brahman, God. That vision is the highest. As long as your eyes are looking at ugly things, no matter how wonderful they look, they are not considered Sunayana, Kunayana. Now the joy that mother of Sita is experiencing, ordinary poetry, all that will say, it was so thrilling. All her hair stood erect, stand, hairs on their end, horripilation. So he does describe that way. He says, that joy, even thousands of Saraswati and thousands of cosmic Shesha serpent, Sheshanag has millions and trillions of hoods. And each hood is quite eloquent. And if through 1,000 hoods Sheshanag were to continue to describe the way Rama looked. So kahin kahin kalpa sat, even for 1,000 kalpas, kalpa itself can't do kalpana about it. Kalpa is countless cycles of ages, 4 yugas, and that million types. And Sheshag goes on composing and writing to describe the joy of Sudad, and he can't describe it. And Goddess Saraswati, whose one single verse becomes the whole universe. Can't describe this Rama's beauty, even for thousands of kalpas, millions of ages. The implication is very simple. Simple point is there, no matter how much you continue in the world of time and space, all the joys that you can get, they cannot match up with the absolute bliss of attaining liberation. All experiences are called alpam in Sanskrit word, little. All the rays that come from the sun on the earth, that create millions of wondrous, picturesque settings of nature, add them all together, sun is far beyond. That's the point behind it. So while you are being led on your spiritual path, state of attaining realization is to same as being united with Rama. That's self-realization. And that joy of self-realization is ananda, bhuma, infinite bliss. Therefore, in your project, in your sadhana, open your mind to have a little glimpse, peep into what's going on in Rama's celebration. नयन नीरु हठि मंगल जानी, परिछनि करहि मुदित मन मरानी, वेद विहित अरु कुल आचारु, किन्ह भली विधि सब व्यवहारु. Tears are coming out of the eyes, but Sunayana pushes them back because it's not appropriate. Controlling the tears coming from her eyes, she performs the ceremony of waving light before Rama with a joyous heart. The tears are coming out there, it's joyous tears. Tears are of two types, cold and hot. When you're very joyous, cool stream comes out, and you have no control over it. And all rituals are being performed, led by Vedas, according to the instructions of the Vedas, as well as according to the family tradition. All types of ritualistic detail is being observed. पंच सबद धुनि मंगल गाना, पट पावड़े पढ़हि विधि नाना, करि आरती अरघु तिन्ह दीन्हा, राम गमनु मंडप तब कीन्हा। पंच शब्द, 5 types of sounds in celebration, old time celebration, and this is mystically old, not not ordinarily old time, but given in a human language. First shabd is called Tantri. Tantri relates to instrumental, which means you may have veena or similar sounds. Consider veena sound or flute sound. They come under the word Tantri. Tal, tal is clapping. If you don't have any instrument, you keep hands become your wonderful. Next one is called jhanj. The English word is cymbals. It's got jhan, 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 jhanj. Next is nagara, kettle drum, big drums, and you beat them. The next one is turahi. It's a trumpet sound. But that's not enough. Panchatash. These 5 types of musical display of sounds. And Panchadhvani, 5 types of Vedic dhvani, sounds coming out of your mouth. What are they? Vandi dhvani. Vandi dhvani means sounds that give glorification. Glorification of Rama, Dasharatha, and so forth. Jaya dhvani, sound that simply says Jai, Jai, Jai. Shankha dhvani, Kanch. Hulu dhvani. People make their different sounds from their mouths when they're too happy. Not Ullu dhvani. Hulu dhvani. So that was the type of, now the idea of all that you could hear if you were in that. And Mangal Gan, all songs are invoking the grace of God for auspiciousness. May good, happiness, joyousness, prosperity shower on all. And there is a display of a lot of colorful clothes that are being spread out for guests. While all this was going on, Sunayana waved light before Rama and gave him sacred water for washing his hands, called Arghya. And then Rama was led to the pavilion. Dasharathu Sahit Samaj Viraje Vibhav Viloki Lokapati Laje Samay Samay Sura Parashahi Phula Santi Padhahi Mahisura Anukula. King Dasharatha came along with all his associates, and beholding the majesty of King Dasharatha, even great gods, they felt ashamed. Ashamed means they can't parallel themselves, compare themselves with the glory of Dasharatha. Because Dasharatha represents the soul that has extended into Rama, the Rama who is going to become Brahman. So when we talk about Brahman, the absolute, all gods compared to that absolute Brahman, they are called Sagun Sakar. Sagun Sakars are always described lesser than the absolute. But that's more a mathematical understanding. In your upasana, it makes no difference. It's just like saying, you are devotee of the sun, and so you find the sun reflected in a jar and you worship. Millions of that type of reflected suns cannot compare with the sun. But that's a mathematical evaluation. It will depend upon your bhavana. If you are worshipping God for fulfillment of your expectations, that God becomes, in your eyes, He is the great one. He creates the whole world, He sustains it, He destroys it, He is the ruler, all that. But when you bring the term God in your mind, God as Nirgun Nirakar, God who is the absolute reality. That absolute reality far transcends, far excels all the symbolic realities that you have entertained. This does not hurt anybody, you see. You can tell the reflected sun, you are little. But I'm worshipping through you the big sun. Nobody is hurt. That's the point being brought out. Simple point is given. Gods who are channels of fulfillment of desires, no matter how wonderful names of those gods may be, Vishnu, Brahma, Shiva, even you can use Brahman. But we are using God in that sense. Then that God is small gods who bow down to the absolute. And that's what you hear always you hear that all the gods are there in Rama's celebration. And they are all bowing down to Rama. And every now and then gods are showering flowers. Suman. Flowers are called Suman. when you are listening to the talk and you are touched by some of these, the moment it happens, God showers flowers. How do you know it? The mind feels very soft and vibrant. A little touch of joyousness to your mind. Suman. नभारु नगर कोलाहल होई, आपनी पर कुछ सुनाई न कोई. In the sky, all the space is filled with all the celebration. And in the city, there is immense noise, spiritual, that type of a noise of celebration. Everyone has forgotten to think about me, mine, apni parai, who am I, who is other. They have all become completely lost into that celebration. यही विधि राम मंडप ही आए, अरघुदेई आसन बैठाए. Thus Sri Rama was brought into the canopy or assembly. And having given arghya, sacred water, that ritualistic, put into the hand, and person wipes the hand and considers a blessing, and then occupies the seat. Baithari, this is chand. Baithari asana arati kari, nirakhi baru sukha pavahi, mani basana bhushana bhuri varahi, nari mangala gavahi, brahmadi suravara vipravesh, बनाई कौतुक दे कहीं, अवलोकी रघुकुल कमल रवि, छवि सुफल जीवन ले कहीं. Having made Rama sit on a divine seat, and having waved light before his face, and having offered piles and piles of wonderful handkerchiefs, little clothes, and little showy stuff, and jeweled stuffs. You go on throwing. And Rama doesn't pick them up. There are others. They pick them up and glorify Rama. They want them to throw more on Rama, so they can have more. And Brahma and all great gods hiding their identity in human form, they have joined the celebration. So looking at the crowd, you don't recognize who is Brahma, who is Vishnu, who is Shiva. It is safe just to recognize everyone is Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Gat gat mein hai sai rabat. God is in everyone. Having darshan of Rama in that state, they consider the fulfillment of their life. Safal. Life became successful, real success. Nau bari bhatanat Ram nichhavari pai, mudit asi sahi नाई सिर हर्षुन हृदय समाई. Now, another Hindi word is nai. Nai refers to barbers. Now in modern times they have taken away the job from the barbers. It's a barbarous act. So barbers, torch bearers, they are called bari. And bards, those who simply sing praises, and they are quick-witted. And nut dancers, they are the ones who go on picking up all that is showered on Rama. And they rejoice. And while picking up and rejoicing, they are showering blessings on Rama. And their heart is overflowing with joy. Mile janaku dasaratu ati priti, karik vaidik laukik sabariti. King Dasharatha and Janaka met with tremendous, immense love. They enfolded each other in their arms. And they adopted all the cultural style from the Vedas and from the local tradition. These two at their meeting the greatest of poets look into their vocabulary and they don't find any word to describe the joy and the expression of glory when these two met. Lahina katahun hari hi amani, inhasama ei upamaura ani. And they went on looking for all their old-time Google for proper description. Couldn't find it. So then ended up just saying, they are like themselves, that's all. But simply describe incomparable. Samada dekhi deva anurage, sumana barashi chasugavan lage. Seeing these two, Dasharatha and Janaka, meeting with such love, gods became highly fascinated by that scene. And they showered flowers and sang glory, glory to King Dasharatha and Janaka. Jagubiranchi upajawa jabate, dekhe sune vyah bahu tabate. Since Brahma created the world, these are the words they were saying, those gods. That since Brahma created this world, we have joined with so many marriages, but the type the elegance, the majesty, the joyous expressions, and the grace that we see in this marriage, that happens only for the first time, never before, and never after. That's the description of spiritual attainment. Viveka you have developed. Once you have developed that movement, that you are being led to enlightenment. Enlightenment was never before in the creation. It will never be in the creation. So it was never was, will never be. So that type of glimpse is being described. देवगिरा सुनि सुंदर सांची प्रीति अलौकिक दूध सिमाची देत पावड़े अरघु सुहाये सादर जनक बट मंडप ही लाए. These words of gods, people recognize them, they were exactly the truth that the gods were saying. An immense love surged in the hearts of all. With great courtesy, offering sacred water and presenting carpet, red carpet. Janaka led King Dasharatha to the royal setup where all this is going to happen, all the traditional style of marriage. Mandapu biloki vichitra rachana ruchiratam muni manahare nijapani janaka sujana sabakam ani singhasana dhare. This royal mandap canopy, the way it was arranged, even the minds of sages became thrilled. King Janaka personally guided all these great guests of his, Dasharatha and all his associates. Kul ishta sarisa vashishta puje binay kari ashisha lahi kaushikahi pujata parama priti kiriti to na paray kahi. And King Janaka worshipped Vasishtha as if Vasishtha were his family deity and received blessings from Vasishtha. Similarly, he worshipped Sage Vishwamitra, and all this was expression of love that cannot be described. वामदेव आतिक ऋषय पूजे मुदित महिष दिए दिव्य आसन सबहि सब सन लही असीस. and some other sages who had joined, Vamadeva and other sages. They were all adored by King Janaka, and they were given their special seats, and they offered their blessings. Bahuri kinha koshalapati puja, janisha samabhava naduja. King Janaka worshipped King Dasharatha as if he were Lord Shiva himself. And with folded hands, he offered his prayers, expressions of his heart. And said how fortunate he was to have that type of union, that type of association with King Dasharatha. Puje bhupati sakala barati, samadhi samasadar sababhati. And King Janaka also treated all those who came with King Dasharatha as if they were like Dasharatha himself. Asan uchita diye sabakahu, kaho kaha mukha eka uchahu. And all were given proper seats. And the poet says, Tulsidas, how can I describe that? I have only one mouth. There are so many. Sakala Bharata Janaka Sanamana Sanamani, Dhanamana Vinati Barabani. All those who had come in that marriage party, King Janaka respected them, gave his man samman, respect and adorations. And he expressed his charity, his prayer, his blessings. Vidhi hari haru disipati din rahu, ye janahi raghubir prabhavu. And shocking news, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, the deities presiding over all the directions, Sun God himself, Kapat Viprabhashavesha Badbanaye, Kautuka Dekhahi Ati Sachupaye. They all hiding in human bodies, Kapatavesh. And pretending to be human beings, appearing as human beings, they are watching all that is going on with great joy. पूजे जनक देव समझाने, दिए सुवासन के बिनु पहचाने. And King Janaka didn't have to work upon who is God, who is not. His mind, all were viewed like gods. So he didn't miss his display of his courtesy. Pahichan ko kehi jaan sabahi apan sudhimo bhori bhai. How can anyone recognize anyone? The question of recognizing arises when you are lacking real happiness. If you are happy, I'm talking about not hopping happiness. If there is ananda, remember, when you go to sleep, an expression of ananda comes and overpowers all your experiences, Anandamaya Kosha. That Anandamaya Kosha is just a little spark of the Ananda, the absolute joy. If little spark can drown all that you can think of, imagine the Ananda, the bliss of Brahman. In other words, in that experience, the duality, I, you, they, so many people, personalities, all that vanishes. Neither me, nor mine, neither you, nor yours. It's all Ananda, bliss. सुरलखे राम सुजान पूजे मानसिक आसन दये अवलोकिशील सुभाव प्रभु को विबुध मन प्रमुदित किए प्रमुदित भये. Though they had all disguised themselves in human form, but Lord Rama recognized them and mentally offered adorations to them and welcomed them. And they felt that. And all gods, at this gesture of Rama, became exceedingly delighted. Ramachandra Mukha Chandra Chavi Lochan Charu Chakor करत पान साध दर सकल प्रेम प्रमोद न थोर. The face of Rama is like full moon. And all the eyes of people, they are like chakora birds. And chakora bird simply goes on looking at the moon. And the experience of joy, love and joy, that's boundless. Samo bilo ki vipashishta bulaye, sadar sadananda suni aaye, begi kunwari ab aanahu jai, chale mudit muni aaya supai. The proper time had arrived. Sage Vasishtha, with great respect, met Shatananda, the royal priest of King Janaka. And Vasishtha said to Shatananda, let the princess, that means Sita, be brought in this assembly. With this, having this instruction from Sage Vasishtha, Shatananda went to bring Sita. Rani suni uparohita bani, pramudita sakhin sameta sayani, viprabadhu kula briddha bolai, karikula niti sumangala gai. And this priest's message came to Queen Sunayana, who along with her friends, they were exceedingly thrilled. And women from Brahmin families, elderly women who played the role of guiding others, all of them joined together and began to sing Mangal Geet, songs invoking auspiciousness, joyousness, grace. नारी वेश जे सुरबर बामा सकल सुभाए सुंदरी श्यामा तिनहि देखि सुख पावहि नारी बिनु पहचानी प्राण हूँ ते प्यारी. And as this whole crowd of women were coming, suddenly they find the whole bunch of wonderful women, all young and youthful, because they were all gods, disguised as human personalities. In brief, the joy with which they started became thousandfold. And they loved each other with intense, prano se bhi pyari, loving more than their own life. बार बार सनमा नहीं रानी उमा रमा शारद समजानी. Queen again and again pays a special respect to Parvati Devi, Lakshmi Devi, Saraswati Devi, who were all like human ladies. And in that process, Sunayana respected all other women likewise. They are all gods and goddesses. Siye samari samaju banai. And then Sita was well adorned from toes to head. Mudit mandapahi chali lavai. And now Sita was brought before the whole royal setting of where Rama, Dasharatha and all were. Chalilyai Sitahi Sakhi Sadar Saji Sumangala Bhamini Navasapta Saje Sundari Sab Matta Kunjara Gamini Kalagana Suni Muni Dhyana Tyagahi Kama Kokila Lajahi Manjira Nupura Kalita Kankana Tala Gati Barabajahi. In this wondrous group who were singing Mangalgan, auspicious songs, and along with that, Sita is being led by all of them. And all of them are well decked. The whole setting, now what we are being led to understand is Sita Viveka Buddhi. Viveka Buddhi begins to develop. All your sentiments, the sentiments that you used in worshipping gods and doing arati and kirtan and puja, all those sentiments have come together. And they all adore Sita, love Sita. All your sentiments love that profound sentiment that brings about vivek. That means which gives you the intellect, the subtle understanding that the spirit is different from matter. The self is totally different from the not self. Soul marrying Vivek Buddhi becomes well set for destroying Ravana, ignorance. I'm putting in one word, but there's a bigger story there. So that setting, how beautiful that setting can be. Kalgan suni muni dhyana tage. Sages forget about their meditation. Meditation was giving great joy. But that sight, forget about meditation, enjoy this. The idea is, this sight is the goal of their meditation. So they are not being distracted. They are being led to advanced state of joy. And adding to the beauteous description, their movement is a joyous, a kind of musical. Their toes have special rings in them. Their anklets have special bells in them. Wrists have special bracelets in them. And their hands are not resting, clapping. Talgati. Sohati vanita brindamahu sahaja suhamani siya chabilalanagana madhyajanu shushamatiya kamaniya. So in this setting of beautiful women, Sita shines. As if all the beauties of the world were to become personalities, and Sita is the highest, the climax of beauty manifesting through Sita. It's the description of Viveka Buddhi in the midst of all types of sentiments. Your heart enjoys sentiment after sentiment, wondrous sentiments, through millions of embodiments. Put all the wondrous sentiments you have enjoyed. And when Sita comes in, that's the climax. The tree has gone through so many experiences. When a blossom comes, the blossom is climax of all. That's the point behind this. Siya sundarata barani na jai, lagubati bahut manoharatai. The beauty of Sita cannot be described. Human intellect is little, and this beauty is boundless. Avata dikhi baratin Sita, rupa rasi sababhati punita. All the Bharatis, all the party that had come with King Dasharatha, they look at this group coming with Sita as leading Sita to the mandap, the royal canopy. Sabahi manahi manakiye pranama, dekhi Rama bhaya purana kama. And they all offer adorations to Sita. And they turn their faces to Rama. When two match comes in, people look at both, this side. And King Dasharatha, along with his sons, he was so thrilled, his joy cannot be described. Sur pranam kari varasahi phoola, muni asisa dhuni mangala moola. Gods offer adorations, shower flowers. Sages offer their blessings. Wonderful songs and beating of kettle drums that go on. All men and women are drenched in the shower of bliss. ए विदिसीय मंडपहि आई प्रमुदित शांति पढ़हि मुनि राई. Thus Sita was brought into the assembly of the royal canopy, and sages chanted Shanti Path, peace chants. तही अवसर कर विधि व्यवहारु जो कुल गुरु सब किन्ह उचा आचारु. All the needed rituals, Vedic chants, traditional performances, they were all done by both gurus, Vasishtha on one side and Shanta Nanda on the other side. आचारु करि गुरु गौरी गणपति मुदित विप्र पूजा वहीं सुर प्रगति पूजा लेहि देहि अशीष अति सुख पावहीं. And they perform the ritualistic worship of Ganesha, Gauri, mother of Ganesha. And gods who were worshipped, they appeared. They called sun god, he appeared. Indra, he appeared. Brahma, Vishnu, they came and received the offerings. Madhupark मंगल द्रव्य जो जही समय मुनि मन महु चाहें भरे कनक को पर कलश सो तब लिए ही परिचारक रहें. And lots of auspicious materials were brought as prasad. And one of the things is called madhupark, just for amusement. Honey that perks up. Five things put together called madhupark. Yogurt, ghee, clarified butter, water, sugar, honey. Put together, madhupark. Honey has perked up. And that's to give delight to people around. Whenever they feel, they put their tongue into it. And with this I conclude. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.